Hello everybody and welcome to Create Crochet with me, Rebecca. Now you've heard that so many times that it's actually a bit weird saying it in front of the camera because it's normally these that you can see. So my favourities, I'm telling you about some great news that I've got for my channel coming next year in 2018. And I'm going to be doing a crochet along, yay! It's going to be called Create Summer. And the reason why I'm posting this video now is because you are going to need to get a couple of bits and bobs just to make sure that your crochet along works fantastically. They're all on the floor because I keep having to dip down. First one you're going to need to do is get yourself a board like this to block your squares. And by blocking your squares, when you crochet a square, it's best then to put it on a board like this to make sure it is definitely square and steam it or wet it to make sure that it fixes into that shape. There's going to be 14 squares in total. 12 squares make up the main body of the actual blanket, and then there's going to be squares that make up the border and obviously then 4 corners, so that's 14 squares. I am going to be honest from the outset and say I've written all the patterns and I tried to make sure that each square was the same size as the next one, but I couldn't do it. It just wasn't working for me, and I've spent months on this and I just couldn't get it that all the squares were exactly the same size. So what I'm going to try and do is record the video with the biggest square first so that you can block that one, and then all of the other squares get done to that size. Again, open and honest. With the smaller squares you are going to need to open them out slightly. It's not a massive, like 10 inches worth of difference. It's a centimetre, something like that. But I haven't actually measured it correctly. But you are, as I said, just going to need to open the square out a little bit more. The next thing that you're going to need to help you with that is a set square, just to make sure that your squares are perfectly square. Choose your yarn. When choosing your yarn for the crochet along, I'm only going to be using 2, possibly 3 colours. I wouldn't go out and buy a rainbow of colours because honestly you're probably not going to use them unless of course you desperately want to. I'm all about making your crochet work yours, and if you want to make a rainbow blanket, make a rainbow blanket. If you want to make it in one colour, make it in one colour, but the videos will only be in, some squares are 1 colour, some squares might be 3. What I'm going for more is texture. So there's going to be lots of 3D flowers, there's going to be lots of back posts and front posts stitches just to make the work pop a little bit more and give you that texture. When choosing your yarn, my personal advice, and it's entirely up to you, is go for the same brand. If you are going for more than 1 colour, try and go for the same brand. So to name a few, Debbie Bliss, plethora of colours out there. Slightly more on the expensive side, it's up to you. There's Bernat Simply Soft, they've got quite a few different colours. That's on the cheaper end of the scale, as are Red Heart yarns. And there's everything in between. But make sure, if you are crossing over manufacturers, make sure that your hook size, just making sure that you can see that, is the same on each ball of yarn. So every single skein or ball of yarn that you choose, or cake yarn that you choose, make sure that they all require the same size hook. Otherwise you are going to have squares that are huge compared to ones with a much smaller yarn, and even with the best blocking in the world, you're never going to get them the same size without really stretching that yarn. That's my advice. So here's an example of what I mean by that. So that yarn is really thick, and this is a Bernat Softy Chunky. Really thick. That requires an 8mm hook, whereas this one, which is Phil Folk 50, requires a 2.5mm hook. If I was to make a square out of that and then make a square on that, they're going to be massively different in size. So that's it really. In January you'll get 3 videos One detailing how to do the border square, one telling you how to do the corner square, and then the last one will be how to tell you to do, show you to do the first actual body of the blanket. So that's it. Have fun, my friends, and I'll see you soon. Bye!